Good morning. I want to welcome everybody to See Here Iola. My name is Shiloh Eggers, and we're going to go ahead and kick it off. If everybody would please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Okay, to start us off, usually I start with an inspirational story, but I kind of found this, and I really love horses. So the title of this is A Horse's Tale. Does the statement, "because we've always done it that way," ring any bells? The U.S. standard railroad gauge, the distance between the rails is 4 feet, 8.5 inches. That's an exceedingly odd number. Why was the gauge used? Because that's the way they built them in England, and the English immigrants built the U.S. railroads. Why did the English build them like that? Because the first railroad lines were built by the same people who built the pre-railroad tramways, and that's the gauge they used. Why did they use that gauge then? Because the people who built the tramways used the same jigs and the tools that used for building wagons, which used that wheel spacing. Okay, why did the wagons have that particular odd wheel spacing? Well, if they tried to use any other spacing, the wagon wheels would break on some of the old long-distance roads in England, because that's the spacing of the wheel ruts. So who built those old rutted roads? Imperial Rome built the first long-distance roads in Europe and England for their legions. The roads have been used ever since. And the ruts in the roads? Roman war chariots formed the initial ruts which everyone else had to match for fear of destroying their wagon wheels. Since the chariots were made for Imperial Rome, they were all alike in the matter of wheel spacing. The United States standard railroad gauge of 4 feet, 8.5 inches is derived from the original specifications for an Imperial Rome war chariot, and bureaucracies live forever. So the next time you are handed a spec and told we've always done it that way and wonder what horse's rear came up with that, you may be exactly right, because the Imperial Roman war chariots were made just wide enough to accommodate the back end of 2 war horses. Now here's the twist to the story. When you see a space shuttle sitting on its launch pad, there are 2 big booster rockets attached to the sides of the main fuel tank. These are solid rocket boosters, or SRBs. The SRBs are made at a factory in Utah. The engineers who designed the SRBs would have preferred to make them a bit fatter, but the SRBs had to be shipped by train from the factory to the launch site. The railroad line from the factory happens to run through a tunnel in the mountains. The SRBs had to fit through that tunnel. The tunnel is slightly wider than the railroad track, and the railroad track, as you now know, is about as wide as 2 horse behinds. So, a major space shuttle design feature of what is arguably the world's most advanced transportation system was determined over 2,000 years ago by the width of a horse's rear. And you thought being a horse's rear wasn't important. Okay, we are going to go ahead and move into, John Brocker is going to give us a housing update.
Good morning, people. I worked on this early this morning, so this is the latest statistics out there. Didn't move. Okay, go one more. Okay, as of this morning, there was 36 listings on the MLS in Iola. The lowest priced one was $18,772. The highest was $299,000. Medium list price was $78,250. Days, medium days on the market was 96, and the average home is 3-bedroom, 2-bath, 1,709 square feet. Now, that's an average of everything. So you got bigger ones, you got smaller ones on that. Looking up the sales as of to date, back in 2015, we had 25 closed, with the low being 14,500. The high was 260,000. Average price was 81,292, with the average days on the market 105. As of to date, on this year, we're up 10 sales for Iola, with the low being 7,500, the high being 320,000. Average was 57,577. Average days in the market were a little longer, 150. For July, statistics for just for the month of July. Last year there were 6 sold, and the average price was 46,000. Average days in market 76. In this July there were 6 sold. The average price was 93,750. 125 days on the market. Now, we go to Allen County, which again, I have to always tell you that adds Iola into it. So, but if you noticed, and the one thing I did notice on Iola, we were down on listings for this time. Actually, the county was up in listings. They had a few more listings than they did last month when I did the report. So, minimum price in the county was $10,000. Maximum list price was $299,000. Average list price $61,166. Average days in the market was 129. Now you notice on this one, the average house was only 1,372 square feet, meaning taking in these other listings, it lowered that average on there. Again, what's sold from the first of the year in 2015 was 34 had closed in the county, 10,000 low, 260,000 high. Average 74,987. Average days in the market 113 days. This year there's been 50 closed, and low was 7,500, high was 320,000. Average was 56,524. Average days in the market was 142. Again, you're going to see the same statistics because all the sales were in Iola, which came through, which last year there was 6 in July. This year, same thing, and you've got your price in that. Then we look at the last slide I always run in is what did the state do for the month, for the month of July on its average. Actually, it was down. Last year, for July, there was 3,997 sales. This year, there was only 3,903. So actually, the state was down in July overall for sales, where we're actually climbing. That month, they just peaked and went down a little bit, and that's everything in the state of Kansas. Do you have any questions?
Does that include the homes that are listed for sale by owner?
No, because we have no way of tracking it.
I wondered, there's
Yeah.
an awful lot of them I've seen lately that have had the for sale by owner, and I didn't know if those numbers.
No, we can't. There's really no way of tracking because half the time you don't know what they're listed for. You don't have a clue of what the deal is without calling everyone each time and getting that facts and figure. But no, but that's a good question. Very good question. Any other questions? Thank you very much.
Okay, thank you, John. We appreciate that insightful report. Okay, we're now going to move into the city update, and it's my pleasure to introduce to you our new city administrator, Sid Fleming. I'm going to turn it over to him.
Good morning. So Donna told me that I needed to be here and I needed to give everybody a little bit of information about myself, so that's what I'm going to do. I grew up in Kansas. I grew up in a small town called Coldwater, which was south of Greensburg. It's basically just 23 miles south of Highway 54, but a long way west of here. I went to school at Southwestern College in Winfield and eventually ended up working for the city of Wichita and I worked there for about 10 years. And that's where I kind of really got my feel for local government and my interest there. And I eventually went to WSU and got my Master's of Public Administration through Wichita State and decided when I was there, I didn't really want to grow into the city of Wichita. I'd rather go someplace and be the manager or administrator at a smaller community. So I eventually ended up in Yuma, Colorado for 3 years, and then back to Kansas and here in Iola. And my family and I are excited to be here and look forward to working with the community and in the community. So that's just a little brief synopsis of who I am. I look back at how I ended up in local government, and I kind of sometimes I laugh to myself because, early on I would never have thought I would have worked for local government, and then now I look back, and my mom was a city clerk for Coldwater for I think 20 plus years. My dad served on the council a couple of terms, and so I look back and look at that, and then my sister works for the county in Kiowa County, and my brother works for the city of Hoisington, so we're all kind of in local government now, and it's like, maybe it's a family thing, so so who knows. Just a little bit, I've been trying to work to get to know everybody of the city crews and kind of work with the departments and figure out what they're doing and how they do that. So that's been kind of consuming my time this first couple of weeks. I look forward to getting out in the community and visiting with some of the organizations that are already there and kind of understanding what they do with the community. As far as our staff, I do know that we're not real busy with schoolwork but we have some things that I know the guys have been working on. Police officers have been at the schools this first couple of days, and I know that the electric crew had done some programming for the ball fields and for the lights and everything, so we've kind of going back to school a little bit too. I know that I'm not going to give dates because I'm not sure. I think they've given the date, but I'm not sure of the right date. But fall cleanup is going to be coming up. That's something that will be, I'm sure we'll have it advertised, but just to kind of give a little promotion of that. And I know that somebody talked about it today. We're just working hard to try to keep up with the mowing. We've had a lot of moisture, so that means the grass is still growing and we're still trying to mow, and we've got temporaries that are leaving to go back to school, so that's been a challenge for those crews that are doing the mowing. So with that's about all I've got for today, so thank you.
Hey, we want to welcome Sid to our community, and there's a lot of pride in Iola, and I think a lot of really good and positive things that are going on, so we're very grateful to have you part of our team. Okay, we're now going to go ahead and move in, and Susan Lynn is going to give us an update for the newspaper.
Good morning. I'm not really about current events today. I'm up Donna's alley. I'm doing history, and my crew and I are working on the most recent installment of the Annals of Allen County. And so those of you who remember my parents, Mickey and Emerson, they did from 1868 to 1945 in these two big books. And so Bruce Symes, who used to work for me, works at the college now, and Richard Lucan and I, now we're taking it up from the war, 1945, to the year 2000. And so far we have, it's a little bit more than 600 pages. And so we're trying to do it just in one volume, not two. So my plea is for community involvement as far as pictures go. And what we've been doing is looking through, like, here's something from the old depot. And it's from the 1950s, and you can tell by the cars and how everybody's dressed. And it's some big event, because all these kids, I have other pictures, and they're running to the train. And here's the depot. It says Iola on it. And it's pictures like this that we're looking for. Pictures where people are doing things, picnics, birthday parties, parades, things like that. Not so much of just, standard head and shoulders shots. So if you have anything from your family or anything that you know that goes from this era up to the present, up to 2000, we would be really happy. And we want to give you credit in the book, you know, submitted by Nancy Ford, and Nancy is telling us what the picture is doing. What we have too, and we've had a lot of fun, looking at this, like we have these big negatives. And the reproduction, thank you, the reproduction is really good. And you can't see this, but this is 4 boys playing ice hockey on Lake Basola with the cement plant. It has, Lehigh cement in back, and smoke is coming out of the smokestack. And so it's and a lot of these pictures I don't have identification for. And so I'm kind of looking, and I was talking with Roger, I'm trying to get like an Antiques Roadshow idea coming, with people coming to the library with their photos and like sharing them with us, and maybe wanting to know who's in the picture, and we can put it in the paper and say, do you know who this is? So I have until next year is the register's 150th birthday. So I want to come out with this book July. So that means I go to press May. My publisher is from Dubuque, Iowa, and the man who's printing it is in Hillsboro. And so he says if I get everything done by May, I can have it out by July. And then we can have a big party. So I just wanted to encourage people to come to me, bring it, email it, however you want to send it our way, and we'll give you credit in the book, and it'll be fun. I hope so. Okay, thank you.
Susan, we appreciate your hard work putting that together, and that's a lot of, all the changes you think of what have happened from 1945 to 2000, there's just been huge change just from technology, transportation. So we're looking forward to learning about that and reading those when they're done. Okay, we're now going to move into, does Nancy has an update from the college, so I'm going to turn it over to her.
Well, I'm sure as everybody's noticed, the college is in full swing. The parking lots are full. There's a lot of activity going on. Our sports teams are going strong. We do have volleyball and soccer and cross country all going right now. Volleyball won their first game on the 24th, and also, just as a side note, our head volleyball coach and our head basketball coach, the Shaws, had their baby girl on that day. So Whitney did not get to go coach the game, but I believe she did get to watch it. They had a little bit more pressing business. Today we do have soccer. It's men's and women's. The women start at 2, men at 4, and then also the cross-country Tramac Fall Classic starts at 6. So you can go sit out there and watch soccer and then watch the kids running. So enrollment is good. Housing was completely full to start with. There's always a few that, dwindle away, but there's usually kids ready to step right up into it. And also, for those that have not heard or have not seen, the schedule for theater has been published. The fall musical is The Addams Family. So that one would probably, I think it's going to be a pretty neat little musical. It'll be at the Bolus October 6th through the 8th. So again, look for stuff on that. Look for posters of different events to be coming out. I am working hard to get all of that stuff ready and printed and out to the public. But just, I guess be aware that the kids are here and their campus is buzzing. So thank you.
All right. Thank you for that update, Nancy. One thing from an economy standpoint, I really appreciate seeing the extra activity at our restaurants, at Walmart and things, so we really appreciate the college being a part of our community. Okay, we're now going to turn it over to our commercial speaker, and that's going to be Angie Lynn, and she's going to talk about 5th grade buddies.
And you can just go through. Okay. I'm Angie Lynn. I am the principal at McKinley School, and at our school we have preschool and kindergarten students. And what I want to talk to you about today is our mentoring program that we have with the 5th grade students at Iola Middle School. Last year, Brad Cruisenberry, who is the middle school principal, and I met and talked about having the opportunity for our kids to get together to mentor his 5th grade students, to mentor the kindergarten students, because we had basically the same amount of students, so we could pair them up pretty well. And so we did that. We started with 1 hour twice a month, and we had different activities that included the students read library books to the kids. The kids took accelerated reader tests. They put together puzzles. The 5th graders taught the kindergarten students how to play board games and card games. They worked on the iPads and the Chromebooks so that the 5th graders could teach the kindergartners technology skills. They did crafts together. The 5th graders assisted the kindergarten students with their classwork. Sometimes they just went in and whatever the teachers had going on in the classroom, then they just sat right down beside their buddies and they worked with them and assisted them with their work. The 5th graders helped to model respectful behaviors and manners with the kids, teaching them to say please and thank you and to ask politely for things. And they also, we were also able to integrate some science and social studies from our curriculum into their activities. So the 5th graders, having that past experience, they were able to help to teach our science and social studies outcomes through our activities. So this year we decided that we wanted to do 2 hours once a month, and that will allow us more time in the building with the kids, and also they'll be there for recess. So we had the 5th graders go out to recess last year with the kindergartners at the end of the school year, and they had a great time with it. And so we thought, when they come once a month, we'll have the 5th graders go out and play with the kids on the playground and maybe do some organized games, and also just letting them have that time to mingle with other 5th grade students and not just their buddies. So it was a very successful experience for us and for the kids, and I know from the pictures you can tell they're all engaged. They're happy, they get excited to see them. I know when I tell the kids at the beginning of the week that on Friday their 5th grade buddies are coming, they're very much anticipating that opportunity and really look forward to the kids coming. We did do some special celebration days last year where the 5th graders stayed for 2 hours, and that's why we want to do the 2 hours this year. We had more time for activities. We had a special gingerbread activity day where the kids went to different stations throughout the school, and they played games and they had relays. They read gingerbread stories, and then they got to decorate gingerbread houses. And the parents were really good to us and donated all of the supplies to decorate gingerbread houses. We had a special Kansas Day activities as well, and so the kids had a honeybee demonstration from Deb Smale, and they did crafts and they made a Kansas snack, and then we did spring activities, same type of thing. The kids rotated through different classrooms and did different activities throughout those 2 hours. And then at the end of the year, we took the kindergarten students to the middle school, and they got to go see where their 5th grade buddies went to school. And the 5th grade teachers planned special activities for the kids to rotate through the middle school classrooms. So that was a lot of fun. And then the 5th graders came over and they did field day with our kindergarten students. So they formed a special bond with the kids, and they all became very close. We got lots of hugs and high fives when the 5th graders came to visit, and so it was just a really great experience for not only our kindergartners but also the 5th graders. Aside from the opportunity for cross-age and cross-grade mentoring, we were able to hone those soft skills that are, the buzzword for education at this time. Employers have said that kids need soft skills. They need to know how to communicate. collaborate. They need to learn responsibility. They need to be positive role models. And throughout this activity with our fifth grade buddies, the fifth graders are learning that, but so are the kindergarten students. So it's just we feel like it's a really great experience for our kids. We are really close in enrollment this year. I think fifth grade has 96 students maybe, and I think we're at around 89, I believe, in kindergarten. So we'll have a few extra, but that's okay. We'll work it out. Somebody might get 2 buddies, and then that child will be very special. So anyway, thank you for giving me the opportunity to come and visit and talk about fifth grade buddies.
Thank you for sharing, and we appreciate your involvement keeping the school system kind of going, and the kindergartners and fifth graders are our next generation of leaders, so we appreciate their instilling that at such a young age. So thank you. Okay, we are now going to turn it over to Donna, who has some tricky trivia for us.
Well, I have a couple of comments to say before. Sid went to the right school when I first introduced myself. I said, you'll see a lot of me. He went to WSU, and of course, you all know I'm a WSU fan, so it has to be good. And Nancy, I see those kids all over, and it was in the paper this week in the bolus section about the play. And so anyone who hasn't seen that needs to go. That should be hilarious. And on Angie, I taught with Angie. She was first grade, and I was head of the English curriculum. What a marvelous thing to have kids helping kids, because I used to have my kids help each other, and everyone said, why do you do that? Your class is noisy. And I said, because one teacher can't get around to 32 kids. I think it's the greatest thing they've ever put in the school system. Now, of course, it's school time, so I had to go to school. The new notebooks, and she alluded to them, they're handed out to every child. How long are they used? Anyone know? Those notebooks are handed out to each child that goes to the school system, and they're supposed to keep that notebook until they graduate from high school. By the notebook, I'm talking computers, but they call them notebooks. They used to give them to you once and then take them back every spring. That didn't work because some little kids tore up their computers, and the next year someone else got those, and they were angry because the other person had taken care of them. I understood that. So I said, well, that's smart. So just so you know, when you see all these little kids carrying these little bags, they're computers that I believe were paid for by a grant. Not sure of that, but I know there's a lot of grants out there to help kids get these. Okay, name 2 teachers that were featured in last night's register. Tell me, someone?
Elizabeth Cunningham.
Elizabeth Cunningham, an Iola girl, and?
The new kindergarten music teacher, I can't think of what her name is.
Carrie Mayberry. Yes. There. She what?
She's Nancy Chaser's granddaughter.
Oh, all right, great. Well, it's so neat to have young people coming into the school system. I love it. What school did each graduate from? See how well you read the article. Emporia State was Elizabeth. What about the other? Truman. That caught my eye because they offered my grandson a full scholarship to swim, but he didn't go there. He went to KU. All right, first school was built when in Iola? I just talked about this the other night at the school thing at the library. 1868. It lasted until when? 1885. What grades were at that school? That's easy, folks. All. There was no kindergarten, but all of the grades were there. Well, okay, they opened the very first high school where? This is tricky. Right just to the east of where the middle school sits. That was the very first high school. And so about that time, they decided, well, they needed to build another school, this was 1885, they built another school where the first school was. Where was that school that I'm talking about? 2 schools were built there, now 3. Jefferson area. Then the South School was built there. What's that now? The South School. Come on, wake up. Jefferson. Where was the North School? Guess. Where Lincoln is now. But is it the same school? No, it was rebuilt. Those were all WPA projects. I'm afraid you're flunking this test. In the very first school, in the second floor, they had high school. How many chairs do you think was in that very first school? And they've got that in the annals. 70. Imagine a class of 70 high school. When I read that, I was doing research for the library for this talk that I gave the other night, and I thought, oh my God, 70 high school kids all in one class, because everyone learns at a different level. I thought, wow. And speaking of the annals, I call them my Bible. When I'm looking for research, I go to the back in the second volume, and I look for schools. And then I find the articles on schools. Then I go down to the library. I've got to give everyone a plug. And they have this most marvelous new computer that lets an old lady like me be able to see it without standing up and trying to look through my bifocals and read what the paper says. It's all there because it gives you the date of the paper. It's the most marvelous thing they've ever put in the library. I tell them, I said, oh, when I die, I'd like to buy that for you. And I said, how much is it? And they told me, and I said, well, that won't happen. But maybe someone rich will do it for us. Okay. When was the first high school built on another area? They're having their centennial. Well, they said 1916, but it says 1917 because they were getting pictures from me last year because that's what their yearbook's all about. Yes, and I told him, I said, I don't know where you got 1916. It was built in, but it didn't open until 17. So, and they said, well, we're still going to do it. And I said, okay, I just want you to know the real facts. So, what happened? This building that is, when they shut the school that was condemned, the first high school, what school was built in 23?
Well, not new high school, but the high school that's standing now.
No, it was built in 17.
The college? The middle school.
The high school was built in 17. The middle, it was the junior high school, 1923. Are our schools old? Yes. Okay, that's my trivia. I've got to get easier questions for you guys.
Okay, we don't have an update from the chamber today because unfortunately Carol is not feeling well. So Donna, if I was one high school student in a group of 70, I don't know how much learning I would have been done because there'd be a lot of distractions. I would have been pretty naughty. Okay, I want to thank the library for agreeing to be our speaker today. And we are going to turn it over to Lisa from the library, and she is going to give us an update on kind of what's going on there. There's a lot of things that they have going on, and we're excited.
Thank you. I'm here because she told me I had to be here. Donna. Okay. Okay, so and just let everybody know, the Iola Public Library will return to its fall hours beginning Monday, so we'll be open Monday through Thursday till 8 o'clock at night, and then we close at 5 o'clock on Friday and Saturday. At the library, we offer more than just books. Go ahead. That didn't do right, but anyway, we have a lot of things there that a lot of people don't realize. I mean, we have automotive books, we have graphic novels, we have books on audio, and just a lot of things that are available at the library. They just need to come in and see us. You can also access your account online, and when you go online, you'll see this here, and you can see what you have checked out. You can do your own renewals if it's available to be done. You can check the catalog and see if there's something that you're looking for and request it, and it'll be brought to the library, and then we notify you, let you know that it's there for you to pick up. But you can We also offer homebound delivery service. Every 2 weeks, items are delivered to homebound patrons by our awesome volunteers that we have. We're so thankful for them. These people that are shut-ins are not able to get out and get to the library and get movies and books and et cetera, so it's really good. We also offer an automatic reserve service, and with that, you can get automatically added to the reserve list when an author releases a new book. It's very handy, especially if you're really a die-hard reader with specific authors. And then the online account access that we talked about previously. We have just recently put this new Reader's Advisory Center in, so if you find yourself stumped and you're trying to find something to read but you don't know what, there's a lot of really good ideas on that. It's a carousel, it spins, but there's a lot of really good ideas in there, and you're welcome to take any and all of those flyers that are on there, kind of help you know which direction to go to. We also offer projectors and screens to check out. They check out for $1 a day, and they're pretty popular. This one is pretty popular. It comes and goes quite often. Okay. And we also offer the ability to pay for things. Sorry. We also offer the ability to pay for things with a credit card or debit card at the library as well. And we have meeting spaces available at the library. We have our meeting room. It rents for $30 for up to 4 hours, and then it's $10 for every hour over that. It's a really spacious room. As you can see in the picture there, there's a sink and a microwave. There's restrooms back around the corner there, and plenty of tables and chairs for use. Go ahead. Have the Fluharty Powell Annex, which is located just across the alley from the library. It's a fully stocked house. The kitchen has everything that you need, so if you want to do cooking or anything in there, everything is there. So it's a really nice place. And then I'm sorry, I didn't include the pictures of the living room. There's a very big living room in there, so it will hold quite a bit of people. We just got a new copy machine, so now we do color. We had so many people kept asking for color capabilities, so we got this now, so it's really kind of nice. And you can also scan and email, which is very helpful as well. So we have a coffee and tea available on cool days. I stopped doing it in the summer because I was throwing away a lot of coffee, but it'll start back up here pretty soon, making the coffee every day. But we have periodicals, and we also have all of our newspapers in that area as well. Underneath of those green things flip up, and that's where the previous issues are, and those can be checked out. We have a pretty good-sized genealogy section, and we have some big tables in there so people can spread their paperwork and books and stuff out and work. And then this next picture, there's that awesome machine that Donna was talking about. It is very cool. It's so much easier to see than the old. We still have 2 of the old microfilm readers, but this one here is so much better, and it's very clear, and it's whenever you find what you need, you just hit print, and it sends it right to the printer. You can also plug a thumb drive in and save your data onto it as well, so you've got to come see it. In the library, we have a little quiet corner in there, and that is utilized quite a bit. It's really nice. We offer lots of different programs. I mean, there is a lot of different ones. We put our program guide out 3 months at a time. And so be sure, and I think Roger passed them out to everybody in here, but be sure to grab one if you're ever at the library and you need another or you want to share. But we have, of course, Leah has story time there. We have had art instruction programs. We've had author signings. We had a canning program last year, and we've crafting, gardening, on all these things that are mentioned. We also, I think it was last week, wasn't it, with the one-room schoolhouse. That was a very, very great, well-attended program. But we do have those there, so we welcome anybody and everybody to attend these programs. The more the merrier. Let's see, this was 2 years ago, I think, and this was from the high school, a group come over and set up this marble run, which was really kind of cool. It was an interactive thing. So the kids could come in and get their marble and drop it over there on the far left side, and it would kind of trail through and drop into the bucket, and they really enjoyed that. So we like to be able to work with the schools and have them come in and help out, and they've done it a few times. We have programs that are entertaining as well. We had the Dulcimer group come in and played for us. We also had this one here, the drum one was really kind of cool, and then we also sometimes do movie nights as well. Oh, this is my Pinterest classes. Once a month on the third Monday of every single month, I do a Pinterest-inspired craft class, and it's become very, very popular, so we have a good time with it. With those, though, pre-registration is required on that, so that way I know how many people are going to be there. So, but it's fun. And then, of course, we have our fun displays. This one was probably one of my favorite. This was our last year's summer reading theme, and he was really cool. He's like almost life-size in that case. Go ahead. He's become our mascot. He sits on top of the cabinet, and he's actually traveled. Where was the library that he went to, Roger? Oswego, yeah. The librarian from Oswego came, got the monkey, and put it in her passenger seat and drove. So there it was, and he's life-sized. He's big. And along with the monkey, the reason why we made the monkey is we had the Wizard of Oz program that we did one year, and so he was the flying monkey, and then I made the big, huge tornado with all the books and stuff, and then what other job do you get to have that you get to do crafts? I love it. And then this was our actually had one of our clerks lie down on the floor so we could put the tape around her. Every year we have an Everything Chocolate sale. It's a Friends Library fundraiser. It's really, really become very successful. I think we're into our fourth year? Okay. And so we ask that the public participate in that by making anything chocolate and donating it to the library, and then we set everything up, and it's a one-day sale. It goes all day long. So we just need people to donate, make and donate chocolate products, and you don't have to package them. We package them the day before and get everything set up. So it's done really, really well. And if anybody has leftover dishes or containers or something that we can use leftover from like their garage sales or something, we would be happy to take a look at them and possibly take them from you off your hands. So it's always helpful. We always are looking for volunteers if anybody wants to help. Okay, next one. And then we have our Iola Reads every year. That's twice a year. We do one for adult book, and then we do one for YA. Oh, sorry, teens, young adults. And then we have contests periodically, and you have to participate to win. So this one was our summer reading this year. Marcia won the barbecue set, and the one on the left, it was just a fun, every once in a while, I'll stick things out in the library, hide it. This one was a splat, and so somebody had to find the splat. It actually stayed out there for 2+ weeks, and nobody could find it, and finally she did. That was good. The doors were always. And two more things I wanted to mention really quick. We will be having our Friends of the Library book sale, and that is Thursday, October 6th, running to Sunday, October 9th. And then also this year, we have our Iola Reading Festival on November 5th from 9:30 in the morning till 3 p.m. in the afternoon, and it will be held out at the Allen Community College. We do a festival every other year, and with that, there'll be a bookstore in there. There'll be the Rare Books Roadshow, a make and take room. There'll be a crime lab, authors and speakers, exhibits. There'll be basket raffles. There'll be fun for the whole family, and there'll be prizes to win. And also, I saved it to the last, there'll be the Paw Patrol. So I'm sure that I'm probably sure that everybody has seen that on Facebook already, so the kiddos are really excited about that. So it'll be fun for the whole family, and we hope that everybody will come. And I thank you for having me.
Lisa, thank you for sharing. The one neat thing that I really appreciate about the library is it is a free service, that it doesn't matter what your budget is, you can afford the library. I've got friends that complain they don't have money and they have their iPad and they're checking out books, and I just prefer to go to the library. So save some money, support the library. It's a very good service, and we really appreciate everything you offer to the community. So, okay, well, that wraps up our See Here Iola for today. Our next See Here Iola is going to be on Friday, September the 30th. So we look forward to seeing you there. So thanks for coming, and see you soon.